Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if it's your first time finding me. Today is going to be an interesting take to the monthly wrap-up videos that I typically do. This is going to be my monthly wrap-up of May, but it's also going to be like a Pride Readathon check-in. It's kind of like a two-in-one, so I'm going to do like the usual thing of going through the books that I've read, but instead of giving you my stats now, I'm actually going to wait to the end of the video because I'm going to do my stats and my progress in the bingo boards all in one at the very end of the video. So I'm going to do like the weekly check-ins where I checked in every week and told you like what I've read each week and give you like in-depth descriptions and reviews of each book, and then I'll just end it with my stats, how much I read in total, how many books I got on my bingo boards. If I think it's going to be doable still, I'll give like a page check-in for the readathon overall for like everyone's participating, because I do have like a spreadsheet going on. So a little bit different, but still like the general gist. So yeah, welcome in. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go to the first check-in of the month that I did. And hopefully I did a very good job this month. I was a little nervous to see how much I read because I've been in a bit of a reading slump, but surely I read at least like 12 books. Surely I did. Today is May 4th. May the 4th be with you. You know I have to do that. And this is my first check-in for the month of May and how much I've read each week. And I'm going to be real honest with you guys. I only read one book this week. I listened to the audiobook of I Think I Love You, and I gave it 4 stars. It was really, really cute. It was about these two girls who want to get into film, and they're gonna be entering into a film competition, but they can't agree on what the film should be. Like, one person wants it to be a romantic comedy, and the other person wants it to be like a more dramatic movie, and they can't decide, so they end up splitting up the teams, and they like are creating their own movie. But while this is all happening, like, their friends are trying to set them up together because like they think they belong together, and then of course, since it's a contemporary romance, they do end up falling in love. And it was really cute. Talks a lot about coming out, which I think is a really important topic in books, because I feel like coming out is a really huge part into the LGBT community, and I feel like sometimes it doesn't go out the way that we want to, and I feel like having those moments of like truthful moments of not like, because I feel like in a lot of like movies, it's like it's either like it goes bad, really, really bad, or it goes like really, really good, and that's not always realistic. And I feel like this had a very realistic approach to coming out and being honest, that I really, really enjoyed. And it was like high schoolers, but I felt like I was really able to still connect with them. I think it was really cute, so I give it 4 stars. It is the first audiobook that I've listened to, I think, this year. I'm really trying to get back into audiobooks, honestly. I had a goal of reading 20 hours, listening to 20 hours of audiobooks, and I'm not very close to it. But I listened to this while I was doing the dishes and while I was cleaning and stuff, so it was a very like easy read. And then I started this book, Sidelined. I'm halfway through. It's really cute. It is about these 2 football players that are living together now because the one person's family is moving here, but they're not going to be here for a couple more weeks, but he wanted to be able to start school. So the other person's grandma took him in, and he was like, oh, you can stay with us until your family comes. So they're living together, and before this person left originally, they had kissed, and now they're both like in love with each other, but they don't know that the other person knows that they're in love with each other. Like, they don't realize that they have feelings for each other. It's really, really cute. I'm really liking it. I'll probably be finishing this tomorrow. It's sitting like a 4-star right now, and hopefully this coming week I'm able to read more, because I don't usually just read 1 book a week. Which, to be fair, the beginning of the month was in the middle of the week, so it's really not my fault. But yeah, this is my first check-in. I'm sorry it's so pitiful. It is Sunday, so it's time for our weekly check-in. I read 3 books this week. I read Melt With You, Bone in His Teeth, and Homebody. I don't remember the author's names. There'll be pictures of the books so you can see that yourself. I'm trying to pace myself by doing like 3 books a week, because I like really burnt myself out during April. So I'm trying to like give myself a little bit of a recovering month. So I'm gonna do about 3 books a week, so like my total ends up being like 15 by the end of the month, kind of. So those are the 3 books that I read. I gave them all 5 stars, which I've never had that happen. I've never had like the books that I read in a week be all 5 stars. That's kind of crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and get into like what each book was about and why I liked it. So the first book that I read this week was Melt With You. It is this book about these two friends who used to be friends, but they ended up being more one day. But then that other friend left for college and they kind of fell apart. Like they hadn't really communicated. They don't even know what they really are. And they kind of like hate each other, kind of. Not like an enemies to lovers, more like a miscommunication vibe going on. Well, their moms both own a ice cream truck together, and they have to work together, and their moms have to go to this like special meeting across the country. So like, okay guys, you have to take our ice cream truck and go to this festival that we go to every year. So it is a romance book. It has like a second chance romance to it, a miscommunication. I don't really usually enjoy this kind of books, but this was so like sappy and cute and exactly what I needed this week because it's been like really rainy here, work's been really busy, so this was like a really good like pick-me-up book. I really love like the ice cream truck side of it. Like they had like their ice cream had like really cute names, and I like how the ice cream truck like plays a part into like them refiguring themselves out and what they mean to each other, and like it's like ice cream truck plays a really big part into the story, and I really enjoyed that and made the plot very entertaining. It was a really quick read. I even cried a little at the end. Like it made me so emotional. I love lesbians. No, they're not even lesbians. One's bisexual, I think. I love women who love women. I love it. It makes me so happy. And then the next book that I read was A Bone in His Teeth. Guys, this book floored me and wowed me. I read a book by this author last month. Didn't really love it. It was kind of mid to me. No, this book was a 5-star. Like, it was so, so good. It's like a monster smut book. So it is about a sailor who he comes home from the boats, being on the ships, away for the season, and his mom is gone. And his mom always told him growing up that if he ever comes home and she's gone, you can find her at Moon Harbor. And he was like, okay, whatever. Well, one day he comes home and she's gone. And no one knows where she went. And he's like, oh, she must have ran off to Moon Harbor. So he has to figure out where Moon Harbor is. And he does make his way to Moon Harbor. But his mom's not there. And there's like something happening to the town. And there is these marrow people. I think that's what they're called. They're like mermaids, but they're not called that in the books. And that's who he, like, one of the people that he falls in love with is, you know, one of those people. But there's like a whole, it's eerie and kind of scary, and it's like a fantasy romance with smut, but it also has like the, like, I don't want to say gothic horror, but like it's got like horror to it that you're like, oh, like you're like on the edge of your toes, like you're like wanting to know more, like you want to know what happened to his mom, you're wanting to know what's happening with this town, and like the smut is very well balanced. I really like the smut. It was very explorative, and it is between a man, and the main character is trans, which is, I really love that representation, and this book was so much better than the other one. Like, I will definitely be enjoying their other works. I'm gonna have to give them a try now, because the first book was mid. This one literally knocked my socks off. I loved it. I loved the plot of like the romances happening in the lighthouses. It's so, so good. And I don't usually really like scary, eerie books like this, but it did it so well. And then the last book I read for the week was Homebody, which is a non-fiction graphic novel about the author's journey of discovering that they're non-binary. And guys, this book made me sob because it was so beautiful and it was so done in such a beautiful light. Like obviously it's a memoir pretty much. But it made me feel so seen as someone who does identify as non-binary. I was like, oh my god, like what this author has gone through, I've gone through myself, and I'm so glad that someone's writing this book about going through these things. And I feel like if people read this book, it might help people come to terms with their identity, or it might at least make people feel not so alone in the world. Like if they're questioning themselves, at least they have this book to like shine some light into it, and it's done so well. The author starts off with being like, oh, I realized I didn't feel like a woman or a man at this point, and then the next point was telling my friends that I felt like I was non-binary, and then the next point is like picking their new name. And it's done so it's a graphic novel, so it has pictures and stuff, and the artwork was beautiful, and the whole message about how you're supposed to feel like home in your body. Like home is not a person, it's a place. It's supposed to be your body. Like it's home body, that's what the name is about. Like anytime they saw themselves in the mirror, it was like their face, and then the bottom half of them was a home. And I love that symbolism of like, you know, making sure that we're taking care of ourselves, making sure we're taking care of our home, and making sure it's the right home for us, making sure that the home doesn't need any renovating. Like it was such a beautiful message, and I just loved it. And I haven't read a nonfiction book in years because I've not really been drawn to nonfiction, but when I saw this was like a a gay nonfiction. I was like, I need to try this out, and I'm so glad I did. I got it from a Libby. So if you're ever looking for like a really good book that talks about being non-binary and even really talks about being like trans or just like really anyone that's in the LGBTQI community, I feel like you could really get something from this book. It's so welcoming and so loving. It's just, I loved it. All the books this week were 5 stars. So that's been it for me. I'm starting Dark Air tonight. It is May 20th. It's actually a Monday because I spent all of last night finishing a book up, so then I was too tired to make this clip. But I did manage to read 4 books this week. I've read Dark Air, Where Shadows Bloom, Midnight Mass, and Sinner. Dark Air was the book that I was started on last Sunday, and I ended up finishing it pretty soon after that. So good. I can't really tell you what it's about because it's the second book in a series, but I gave it 5 stars. Like, it was, these books like are so good at like epic plot twists and like making you get really attached to characters and then things happening to said characters. Not just like, I don't even mean like dying. Like, I mean like things happen to them in like different ways. Like they like their whole worlds are flipped upside down by like the end of the books, and you would think I wouldn't be shocked anymore, but I still have somehow still been shocked by some of the things that this author has come up with. So I give it 5 stars just because of like how well the author does with like really nailing those big reveals, or like making you realize that what you thought was what it was isn't actually what it was at all, and just, it's so good. If you're curious about what it's about, I'd go check it out on Cherrygraph because I don't want to give any spoilers, but it's really good. And then I read Where Shadows Bloom. I gave this a 4.75, I think. It wasn't quite a 5, just because I felt like the pacing was a little like too fast in my opinion in some places. But it is about it's a sapphic romantasy with like Regency themes. So it is about this girl who lives in a villa with her mom, and these shadows are attacking their villa. They're apparently attacking everywhere in this area except for the castle. The castle is apparently the only place where the shadows aren't attacking. And these shadows essentially like suck your soul out of you. And so her mom has hired these soldiers, knights, whatever you want to call them, to defend their villa. Because the main character is very impulsive, she's very reckless, like she just goes outside anyways, and she's like, and she's almost died a couple of times. Her mom is very protective of her. Well, very early on in the book, something happens, and it like scares her mom and the main character, so her mom's like, you know what, I'm gonna go to the castle, and I'm going to petition the king to let us stay there for safety reasons. But her mom wouldn't let her come with her because she said that the journey was going to be so treacherous. She's like, I'll come back for you after I get safe harbor. I'll come back with you with his wagon. Not wagon. Why can't I think of the words I'm thinking of? Carrier. His like royal carrier. So her mom is gone for like a week, and she's supposed to have only taken like 4 or 5 days. So immediately they're like, oh my god, something happened to her. Like, did she get killed by a shadow? Did she ever make it? Is she just stuck at the castle? Is she on her way back? Has she been delayed? So the main character teams with one of the soldiers, knights, whatever you want to call them, who is also a woman, and they decide to travel to the castle themselves. And when they get there, there's a whole lot more than meets the eye. Like, there's a whole mystery going on with the shadows and where her mom is, and other people have been disappearing, and obviously they also are falling in love because it is a romantasy, and I really, really enjoyed it. It just felt like sometimes the pacing was happening so fast. And then Midnight Mass, I read Priest by Sierra Simone, literally I think like 2 years ago. It's just like they're just smutty romances. I don't recommend them to everyone because they are like very, I think religious people wouldn't be offended because they're pretty much like about priests leaving their church to be with a woman, or like woman leaving to be with a man. These books are kind of a bit taboo in my opinion, and I enjoy the hell out of them, but I wouldn't recommend it to anyone that I know that's actually religious, because they'll probably, especially Catholics, I would definitely never recommend this to Catholic, because it does a good job of like not tearing down Catholics, but it does bring up some of the things that's happening in the Catholic Church that's not okay. But also I know like when you take I think it's very taboo to have like a priest romance, because people are like, well, priests don't have sex, and it's like, okay, well, this is a romance about a priest having sex. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, the priest does break his vow and he has sex and then he leaves. Like, I don't understand how else to explain it. Like, it's about yes, he is a priest, and I understand that priests take vows to not have sex, but this priest breaks that vow. That's like the only way I can describe it without giving like spoilers. But that's what the first book is about. And the Midnight Mass was like a novella that's placed after that, and I read it because I'm reading the other set of the series this month, because I was like, oh my god, it's been like so long, I should just go ahead and get the series finished to get it out of the way. So Midnight Mass was following that character from the first book, giving a little bit insight into his life like after the first book. And the second book was about his brother, who falls in love with a girl who's about to become a nun. She's a postulate, and she's wanting to have a whirlwind month of sex and love and all the things that she's gonna have to give up before she goes to become a nun. And she picks him to do those things with. So the whole book's about them, you know, being kinky, dirty, living it up. And I'm gonna be starting the third book today probably, and it's actually a gay priest romance. I love it. I know it's taboo. I know a lot of people would probably be offended, but I eat these up. So the second book I did read, that was the fourth book that I read this week, and I gave it 5 stars. It was, guys, it's so good. And I wasn't expecting a priest romance book to make me, sorry, this is the priest. I wasn't expecting like a postulate, soon to be nun romance book to make me sob. But there's a scene at the end that literally makes me cry, and I won't be able to look at a Mountain Dew can the same ever again. It's tragic, but it's in a way, but it's also beautiful, and I really loved the depictions of religion, and this one especially, about how you can be angry with God, but that doesn't mean that you don't have to believe in him anymore. I'm not a super religious person myself, but I do like that messaging of like, yeah, bad things are gonna happen, and it's okay for you to be angry with God or whatever you believe in, and it's okay with you to want justice for those things, or it's okay for you to want to yell at them for these bad things, but it doesn't mean that your faith has to completely disappear just because a bad thing happened. And I think that can be applied to just any religion or anything that you believe in. I don't think it has to be specifically God themselves. And I also really enjoyed it because they referred to God as a she in this book, and there's a lot of dialogue breaking down how like God is above like gender identity, and like why should we only call her like a man? Like, that's just men trying to control a society. Like, men want to be the supreme of everyone, and it's actually like a little bit sexist to only refer to God as a man. And I was like, whoa, that is such an important thing to talk about in a book that also has smut. I don't know, it's not just a smut book, while also crying, while also being severely attracted to the main male character. I'm down bad for him. It is May 26th. I know you're gonna hear a noise, but it's because I'm at my desk and I couldn't do this without the video, for the video, because I can't remember all these books. I tried. I kept messing up, so I literally need to just have my Storygraph open so I can get through this, because I actually read 6 books this week. That's the most I've read in a week since last month. So I needed to have like the names and the authors' names in front of me. So I know that I did a Read With Me for the Week video, so I won't go too in depth in those 3 videos, but I will for the other 3. So like I said, it is a Monday because I have been really busy on Sundays. Like, I have been pushing to the last minute to finish books before I make these check-ins. So this is the second time that I've did a check-in on a Monday, which is technically in a new week. But I'm going to go over the books that I read up until Sunday, pretty much. So that would bring us to the fact that I read 6 books. The 6 books that I read was The Tea Dragon Society, Saint, Brighter Than Scales, Swifter Than Flame, Carry On, Napkins and Other Distractions, and They Bloom at Night. I talked about Carry On, The Tea Dragon Society, and Napkins and Other Distractions in the Read With Me for the Week vlog. So if you want like a description and like a really detailed review of those 3 books, please go watch that video. I'll have it linked. And I ended up giving The Tea Dragon Society 5 stars. I gave Carry On 4 stars, and I gave Napkins and Other Distractions 4 stars as well. And then the books I'm going to talk about in this video is Brighter Than Scales, Swifter Than Flame. I give it 4 stars. It's a novella. It's super short. It is about a dragon hunter who has been wearing like a full-blown get-up, like of like the metal get-ups. Why am I blanking what they're called? Suits? Night suits. No one's really ever seen her face, so she's like a legend. Like, no one even knows that she's really a girl. Like, no one has never really seen her. Like, she could literally take her mask off and everyone would be like, oh my god, who are you? And she ends up getting sent to this other country to try to hunt down the last dragon of its kind. And there ends up being a whole mystery around the dragon, and it ends up being gay, and it's really, really good. I really like the premise, but this is another one of those cases where I wish that it was longer. I wish that this is a full-size book. It would have been so good because it's very fast-paced. It like time jumps a lot, years time jumps sometimes, and it made me a bit emotional. I thought it had all the good stuff to be a good book. I feel like authors sometimes hurt themselves by doing novellas because sometimes you're left wanting more, and I was left wanting more. So I don't know. I feel like novellas might not be for me. But then I read Saint, which is the last book in the pre-series. This one broke me and tore me to pieces. This is about a guy who is trying to become a monk. He is in like his last year of the, God, I don't know what it's called. I don't want to say training because that feels like the wrong word, but I'm blanking. But he's pretty much like in his last time period before he takes his vows of silence, and he's a monk and all that. But he's gay, and he's really struggling with the fact that, like, can you be gay and still believe in God? Can you be gay and still be a monk? Can you be gay and still be in the religious spaces? And what, like, the gayness has to do with his religion. Can they exist at one time? Could they be two separate things? And it really made me sob violently. It's an older character. Like, the guy is, like, in his 40s, I think. Almost 40s. The other ones, they weren't quite that old. So this one really hit me because it was pretty much like this guy being like, you know, I've lived most of my life and I know that I'm gay, and now, like, is it too late to, you know, embrace being gay? And it just really hit me deep. And then the last book I read that I didn't talk about the video was They Bloom at Night. I haven't rated this one. Maybe talking with it, you guys, I will rate it. I'm kind of leaning towards a 4 right now. It's because this was like another shorter book, 262 pages, and I felt like it needed to be longer. But it is kind of like The Last of Us, but with ocean. The fish are like infected, they're sick, like their bodies are like not what they're supposed to be, so like they have like more than one eye, or like their gills are black, or like they definitely have like mutations and deformations from like something's contaminating, like something's happening to them, like something's wrong with the ocean life. And the book is following the main character as she tries to figure out what's going on with the ocean, because she is working as someone who catches these fish and then she sells them because people are like, oh my god, there's this weird thing happening, we need to know. Because it's kind of like the Hunger Games, like where people are getting killed, but it's like entertainment for some other people that's not being affected by it. It's like a very similar thing where like, oh, people who are not living in this area, who are not being impacted, are like, oh my god, a weird fish, let me see. So she has to catch these fish, and they're pretty much gonna like make like an attraction of it all or something like that. And it is gay, but it's also very eerie, very, very eerie. It actually deals a lot with, I believe, Vietnamese gods. And I just feel like I really enjoy this author, but this author does not wow me. Like, this was not a 5-star. I feel like it's definitely in the 4-star territory. I just don't know a 4 exactly, a 4.25, 4.5. I don't know. I think maybe I'm leaning towards just a 4 because it's very short, very fast-paced. I feel like the ending is very fast, like more fast than I was wanting. I haven't read anything like this before, but I meant in the sense like of the ocean. Like, obviously there's like zombie stories exist, like wildlife being infected, those kind of stories exist. But this was more than that. This had to do with like gods and like the ocean, and it's interesting in its own sense, and I would recommend it, but I don't think it's a 5-star, and I do think it would have been better if it would have been longer. Definitely scary, definitely gay. It's definitely hitting all the points it's supposed to. But man, I just feel like novellas are just not for me because I'm always left wanting more. I don't think I can even think of one novella that I've read where I'm like, oh my god, that's amazing. It gave me exactly what I wanted. I'm always being like, wow, I wish there was more. I wish there was a second book. I wish there was a second part. I wish this had 100 pages more. I'm like, I always just feel like maybe I'm not the crowd for novellas. Maybe I like long stories, and that's not a bad thing. Maybe I'm just meant to dive into these long ass stories that take me days to read and enjoy, because I like feeling close to the characters. I like feeling like I know them personally, like I could see them on the streets and know facts about them. And when I read novellas, I feel like I'm only getting like the surface level of a character, and I want deeper. I want to know them on a deep level. I want to know their favorite color. I want to know what they eat in the middle of the night. I want to know, like, I want to know everything. And I don't feel like novellas give that to you, and maybe that's fine. Maybe I just need to accept that, because yes, novellas are fast to read, but why do I care about that? Like, I shouldn't be prioritizing how fast a book is to read over books that I enjoy. So I think I just need to steer away from these novellas. I'm still learning, what books I like, and that's not a bad thing. It takes some time, it takes some trial and error, and maybe I'm slowly coming to realize that maybe novellas aren't something that I should dabble in all the time. Like, maybe a novella here and there will be good for me, but not something that I should partake in multiple times a month. So yeah, this is the check-in. Like I said, there's only 1 week left in the month. I don't plan to read a lot this week. I'm in the middle of reading Fable for the End of the World, which you'll hear about in the next clip. But I'm probably only going to read like one book after that, because I'm pretty exhausted. I had yesterday off, and I slept. I took 3 naps yesterday. That's just where I am in life right now. I'm struggling just a little bit, but I'm gonna finish probably 2 books. I think I'm like halfway through the 1 book, and maybe I could get 1 more in by the end of the week before this video goes up, because this video is going up on the 1st, I think. I think it comes out literally June 1st. Yeah, comes out June 1st. So we'll be ready for you guys to see very soon. So I only really have like 4 days to read a book. Read any more than I want to read so I can get this out on time. But yeah, this is it. 6 books in a week is not bad at all. It's actually really good for me. And I enjoyed most of them. So yeah, I'm gonna stop yapping now and go. I'll see you guys next week, next Sunday, next whenever, for the final bit of this. Okay, so it is May 30th. It's not a Sunday, but the end of the month is soon. Like literally tomorrow. I just got done reading Teacher of the Year. It's my last book of the month. I just don't want to push myself to read 1 more book, even though like there's only 1 day left, and I'm just gonna stop here. It took me 3 days to read this book because I've been doing other things, but loved it. Like a 4.75. Like really, really, really enjoyed. Really cute, gay, contemporary romance. I might be a really big fan of this author. They might get added to like my contemporary romance like approved author list. But what it's about, this entire series is about teachers. If you couldn't tell by the title, it is about the first book. I've read book 1 and 3. I don't know why I read them out of order, but I just did. I haven't read the second one because it's a Christmas book, so I'm gonna save it for Christmas time. But this one specifically is about a teacher who has ADHD. Love representation, by the way. And they are a kindergarten teacher, and they are up for Teacher of the Year with their county and maybe even the whole state. So they have to go through all this paperwork and stuff. Like, they're a really amazing teacher. And the other main character is a divorced single dad who just moved from Portland, or moved to Portland. I can't remember exactly. But he has a daughter who's going to be in the other main character's class, and they essentially start dating because of course they do. And they're like trying to hide it, but it's like a really great story of like, one, ADHD representation. It also deals with alcoholism, which really hit close for me, and it's done so well. Talks about getting help, needing help, not being afraid to say that you need help. It's has some good smut to it. It does have a 3rd act breakup, kind of, but not like as bad as other ones that I've read, so I won't like minus it on that. I just really enjoy a good like teacher romance. I don't know why, I just think it's such a good trope. And I don't usually enjoy books with kids, but Alona is such a cute little kid, and I love seeing them build like a what's that word called? A mesh family, a blended family together. And I loved how the one main character has a cat who's like his best friend. Like, his name's Gonzo, and he is a big part of the book. That really made me giggle. The only reason why I'm not giving it 5 stars is it was long. It was like almost 700 pages. My version of it was almost 700 pages, and it took me quite some time to get through. And that just loses a little bit for me because I've said it before, I don't like super long romances. I just feel like that some of it could have been cut out and it would have been better for it. But the third one I loved, I gave that one a 4-star. And then when I'm really excited to read the second one during Christmas time, and I might read anything this author writes because I'm just such a big fan. It had me in my feels. And yeah, that's it. That's my last book of the month. I'm going to go ahead and the next clip talk about how much I read, all my stats. I'll give an update on my bingo boards. And yeah, we have done great this month. We as in me, but also as you as well. We have done well together. Yeah. It's stats time, stats time. I read 17 books, which is a lot more than I thought. I thought I read like 12. I read 5,177 pages. I listened to an almost 8-hour audiobook, and my average rating was a 4.53. What a month. My average time to finish was 3 days, and my average length was 322 pages. I was like, I'm going to read less this month, and I did, but I think I read longer books this month. I feel like a lot of books that I read were longer than what I typically read. And then my favorite book of the month, which was really hard to pick because I didn't have any books that like really stood out to me that was like, oh yeah, this is my favorite. So I ended up picking one of the ones that I did give 5 stars. I picked A Bone in His Teeth because this book really wowed me. Just as a little refresher, that is a book about the like lighthouse keeper who falls in love with the Miro, whatever, the mermaid people, whatever the heck they're called. It has like the mystery vibe to it, the monster smut to it. It really just knocked my socks off. And even though it's not like a standout book, and I don't think it's gonna win for the entire year, I think it's the most fitting book for May. It's just like out of the options that I had, I feel like this is my favorite out of this month. And then for my bingo board progress, I don't know how I did this because it wasn't on purpose. I have somehow read 5 prompts from each board. For the board that has to do with colors, I read Sidelined for my orange prompt. I read Napkins and Other Distractions for my pink prompt. I read Where Shadows Bloom for my yellow prompt. I did Carry On for my purple prompt. And I did Brighter Than Scales, Deeper Than Flame for the red prompt. And I still have to do the blue, the color of your choice, the neutral, and the green. And then for the prompts that are like more specific, but like not like the medium level board, I did Dark Air for the highest rated on your TBR. I did Bone in His Teeth for the prompt where it said it had to end in 2 and or 8. I did They Bloom at Night with a random color choosing wheel, and then Teacher of the Year for the it's like the same initials as you, and then Met With You for like the free space. So I have to still do Set in Summer, Released in June, Book in Your Favorite Genre, and I have to use like the search on Pinterest, Google for the rec. And then for the last bingo board, I did. Oh, I messed those up. That was what I just said was bingo board 3. I have them out of order in my notes. Man. Anyways, so for queer author, I did Homebody. For Saint was my free space. What is this one? Oh, Fable for the End of the World. I did Fable for the End of the World for my reading the comfort genre. I did I Think I Love You for my romance book, and then I did the Tea Dragon Society for a book that I read outside. So I still have to do book with multiple POVs, a book with a fun cover, read a book entirely in the morning, and read a book by a POC author. I do have those books already picked out, I just haven't gotten to them yet. So that's my Mooing with Pride readathon update. I've read 15 out of 27 prompts, so I'm like, what, almost 50% of the way through? I can't do math. But yeah, and some of these prompts were also on my 25 and 2025, so I feel like I'm slaying it. Like, we're almost halfway through the year, and I feel like I am doing so well this year. I've read 87 books total, so I'm a little behind than I was last year, but that was on purpose. This year I said I was going to read less. I said I was going to read more intently, so me being behind doesn't bother me at all. I feel like with me choosing books more intently and taking my time with them, 87 books is still really, really good. So this is my May stats, my Mooing with Pride readathon stats. I am having so much fun. I almost forgot to give you the Mooing with Pride total pages that everyone has put in for the readathon so far. We have gone over 10,000 pages. I think the exact total is 10,336, and that was all done in 1 month. We are killing it, y'all. We're killing it. That's amazing. And I only contributed 5,000, so the other people have put in the other 5,000, and I'm so proud of us. At the time of me making this video, we're at 10,000. I'm really confident that we'll get to at least 20,000. I'm really looking forward to it. And for an emoji to comment, I actually already know one, because I actually thought about it in advance. Please comment the mermaid emoji, because my favorite book was The Bone in His Teeth, and even though they're not called mermaids, they're practically mermaids. So comment that emoji if you made it this far in this video. You can let me know what your favorite book for the readathon has been so far. You can tell me what book you're looking forward to read for Pride Month. You can just tell me all the book stuff that you want to tell me. I'm so excited. I am loving what I'm doing so far with the Pride stuff, and they did unlock the Pride cow that's going to be added to my Twitch stream. I'm working on that with a friend, and hopefully in the next couple of weeks I will have that implemented in my stream. And next week starts the Pride videos where I give you recs based off of genres. Really excited. I'm actually going to be uploading the first video while I'm literally in Chicago. So I'll see you guys next week. I hope you guys have a very mutastic week. I haven't showed a cow in a while, so let's bring up a cow. This is Piney, short for pineapple. And we say bye. We say bye, everyone. Have a good week.